I was watching my mom the other day. She was just reaching up to get a glass from the top cupboard. And I noticed, she actually could not quite reach the shelf she used to reach so easily.
Yeah, that is a moment so many of us recognize
Hmm.
when we suddenly see that physical shift.
Right. And it just got me thinking about the whole topic for this deep dive today because, we always think of our bones as these solid, permanent things like rocks or building beams.
We really do. We picture the skeleton in a science class, and it just looks so still.
Exactly. But the truth is, right now, our skeletons are quietly changing, losing ground, and we do not even feel it. You do not feel a thing
Mm.
until maybe you trip on a curb.
Yes, and what used to be just a little bruise in your 30s suddenly becomes a 6-month recovery in your 60s.
And that is the central mystery I really wanted us to talk about today. Because I am in my late 30s and I watch my parents going through this, and I secretly wonder, why does the body hide this from us?
It is a great question. And it is something I wondered too when I hit my 60s. You know, it is such a quiet mystery. Our bodies usually scream at us when something needs attention.
Right, like if I pull a muscle, it hurts immediately.
Exactly. But with our bones, there is no pain alarm. And I think that lack of an alarm makes people feel, well, a little bit fearful or betrayed when they finally do find out their bones are getting thinner.
I can completely understand feeling betrayed by that.
But the beautiful thing I have learned, and what we are really going to explore today, is that this is not about fear at all. It is just about getting to know how your body works in this new season of life.
I love that approach. So, to really understand this, we have to look at what is actually happening inside the bone
Mm.
because it is not just a dry rock, right? It is living tissue.
Oh, it is incredibly alive. You have
Oh.
highly active tissue. There's a whole process going on in there every single day of your life.
I was reading about this and it just blew my mind.
Mm.
The body actually has these two different crews of cells working on the bones all the time.
Yes, the builder cells and the cleanup cells.
Right. So the cleanup cells, I think they are called osteoclasts, if we want to use the science word.
Hmm?
They are basically the demolition crew. They actually go in and dissolve the old, worn-out bone tissue.
They do. They carve out these tiny little trenches in the bone. It is like they're clearing away the old driveway so you can pour fresh cement.
Wow. And then the builder cells, the osteoblasts, they come right behind them, right?
Exactly. The builders move into those little trenches and lay down fresh protein, mostly collagen, and then they harden it with calcium
So it is just this constant cycle of tearing down and rebuilding.
every single day. In fact, your body replaces your entire skeleton about every 10 years.
That is just wild to think about. I'm literally walking around in a different skeleton than I had 10 years ago.
You really are. And in our 20s and 30s, the builders are just a tiny bit faster than the demolition crew. So we build strong, dense bones.
But then something shifts, right? Around our mid-30s.
It does. It is a very quiet shift. The cleanup crew just starts working a fraction of a second faster than the builders.
And we do not notice it at all.
Not at all. You might just lose 1% of your bone strength a year. It is so gradual.
But I want to ask about the hormone side of this, because I know that plays a huge role, especially for women as they get older.
Oh, it is a huge part of the story.
Yeah.
You see, for women, estrogen is like a gentle brake pedal on that demolition crew. It keeps the cleanup cells from working too fast.
Okay, so it keeps them in check.
Right. But when a woman goes through menopause and that estrogen drops, that brake pedal is released.
Oh, wow. So the demolition crew just goes into overdrive.
They do. The cleanup cells live longer, they dig deeper trenches, and the poor builder cells just cannot keep up the pace.
I read that a woman can actually lose up to 20% of her bone density in just those first 5 to 7 years after menopause.
It is a profound change, and it happens so fast on a cellular level, yet we feel nothing on the outside.
And what about men? Because my dad never talks about this, but I assume men go through a shift too.
They do, though it happens a bit later. Men actually convert some of their testosterone into estrogen, which protects their bones the exact same way.
I did not know that.
Yes, so when a man's testosterone naturally begins to drop in his 60s and 70s, he loses that brake pedal too. The cleanup crew speeds up for him as well.
So it really is a human thing, not just a women's thing.
Exactly. But because it happens so quietly, we just brush off the signs.
Right, like my mom not being able to reach the shelf. What are some of the other quiet signs that people miss?
Well, sometimes it is just a slight change in posture. A gentle forward curve in the upper back.
Like the shoulders rounding forward a bit?
Yes. Or even something as small as your wedding ring suddenly feeling loose.
Wait, really? Because of the bones in your fingers?
Exactly. The bone gets a bit thinner, so the ring slips. Or you might notice your grip strength is not quite what it used to be when you try to open a jar.
Oh, man. And I feel like most people just say, well, I'm just getting older, and they ignore it.
They do. And then when they finally go to the doctor and get a scan, they panic.
And I know exactly what happens next because I saw it with a friend of the family. They panic, they go to the store, and they buy the biggest bottle of calcium pills they can find.
Oh, the giant calcium pill.
Yes.
That is the first thing we all try to do.
Right, because we are told our whole lives that calcium equals strong bones. So they just start swallowing 1,000 milligrams a day and think the problem is solved.
And that is probably the biggest misunderstanding about our bones.
Why is that? I mean, bones need calcium, right?
They do need it, absolutely. But thinking a calcium pill alone will fix the bone is like thinking a pile of bricks will build a house all by itself.
Okay, I love that analogy. Let's unpack that. If my skeleton is a construction site, the calcium is just the pile of bricks.
Exactly. You just backed up a truck and dump raw bricks on the dirt.
Yeah!
But to build a house, you need a whole crew. You need a delivery system to move those bricks.
And in the body, what is the delivery system?
That is vitamin D. Vitamin D is like the delivery truck. Without it, your gut simply cannot absorb the calcium.
So if I do not have enough vitamin D, the calcium just passes right through me.
Mostly, yes. You might only absorb 10 or 15% of it. The rest is just wasted. But when you have enough vitamin D, that absorption rate more than doubles.
Wow. Okay, so we have the bricks and we have the vitamin D delivery trucks. But trucks need gas, right? They need a mechanic.
Yes, they do. And in this case, the mechanic is magnesium.
Magnesium. I feel like nobody talks about magnesium for bones.
It is so often forgotten. But your body needs magnesium to actually activate the vitamin D. If you do not have enough magnesium, those delivery trucks are just parked in the lot with dead batteries.
And a lot of adults are low on magnesium, right?
Nearly half of us are not getting enough from our food.
Okay, so we have the bricks, the trucks, and the mechanic. But you still need someone to tell the trucks where to put the bricks.
They need a foreman for the site. And this is my favorite part of the whole system. The foreman is vitamin K2.
Vitamin K2, how does that work?
Well, the builder cells in your bone make a special protein, but when it first comes out, it is the wrong shape to hold on to calcium.
Like a lock and key that do not quite match.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Vitamin K2 actually comes in and changes the physical shape of that protein so it can grab the calcium perfectly and pull it right into the bone.
That is amazing. So if I am just taking massive amounts of calcium, but I do not have any vitamin K2, my foreman is missing.
Right. And this is why just taking calcium can sometimes be an issue. If the calcium gets into your blood, but there is no K2 to guide it into the bone, it just wanders around.
Where does it go?
Well, sometimes it settles into soft tissues. It can end up in your arteries or in your kidneys.
Oh, wow. So more calcium is definitely not always better.
Not if it does not know where to go. It is all about the whole system working together.
And I guess we need scaffolding too, like the actual frame of the house.
Yes, and that scaffolding is protein. Your bones are actually made of a lot of protein.
Which is funny because for a long time, people used to say eating too much protein was bad for your bones.
I remember those days. They used to think it made your body too acidic. But we know now that was just a myth. Your builder cells desperately need protein to make that flexible frame before they harden it with calcium.
Okay, so this all makes perfect sense. We need the whole crew. But I have to be honest, taking 5 different pills every morning sounds a bit overwhelming.
It sounds awful, and you really do not have to do it that way.
So how do we gently bring this whole crew into our daily lives without turning breakfast into a pharmacy trip?
Well, the gentlest and best way is just through the food we eat. Because nature is very smart. It already packages these things together.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Think about leafy greens. Things like spinach or kale or collard greens.
Right. My mom loves collard greens.
Perfect. Because in those greens, you are not just getting the calcium bricks. The plant naturally packages the calcium right alongside the vitamin K2 foreman.
Oh, that is so cool. It is like a combo pack.
It really is.
Yeah.
Or think about canned salmon or sardines, especially if you eat the little soft bones.
I am personally not a huge sardine fan, but I know a lot of people love them.
They are wonderful for you because there you get the calcium paired directly with the vitamin D delivery trucks plus the protein scaffolding.
All in one meal. What about magnesium?
Almonds are fantastic for that. A little handful of almonds gives you calcium and the magnesium mechanic perfectly matched together.
That is so much easier than taking all those pills. But I was looking into this, and there's one other thing that comes up a lot, which is gut health.
Yes, gut health is everything.
Because it is not just about what you swallow, right? It is about what your body can actually absorb.
Exactly. If your digestion is struggling or your gut is irritated, the tiny little pathways that pull these nutrients into your body get blocked.
So how do we help that? I know people talk about yogurt for calcium, but is it doing something else too?
Yes. Things like plain yogurt or kefir or fermented foods, they have probiotics. And those probiotics gently calm and heal the lining of your gut.
So it is repairing the doorway, basically.
Right. So when you eat that calcium and magnesium, the doors are wide open to let them in. And some of those good bacteria in your gut actually make vitamin K2 for you.
Wait, your body makes its own formin?
If your gut is healthy, yes.
That is incredible. Okay, so we are hiring the good crew with our food. But what about the habits that are, quietly firing the crew? What gets in the way?
Well, we have to talk about salt.
Oh no, I love salt.
I know, we all do. But when we eat highly processed foods that are just loaded with excess sodium, our body has to flush that extra salt out through our urine.
Okay.
But the way our kidneys work, when they flush out the salt, they drag the calcium right out with it.
You are kidding. So I could be eating my kale and almonds, doing everything right, but if I eat a super salty processed meal, I am basically just washing my hard work down the drain.
It is a bit like that, yes. It is just a trade-off your body has to make.
That is so good to know. What else washes it away?
Heavy caffeine can do it. A cup or two of morning coffee is fine. But if you are drinking 4 or 5 cups a day, it acts like a diuretic and you lose calcium.
And sodas, right?
Yes, especially the dark sodas with phosphoric acid. They really disrupt the builder cells.
And what about alcohol? Because a glass of wine with dinner is pretty common.
A small amount is usually okay for most, but heavy, regular alcohol use is really tough on the bones. It actually suppresses those builder cells.
So it tells the builders to go on strike.
Exactly, and it does nothing to stop the cleanup crew. So the balance tips the wrong way very quickly.
Okay, so we fix the food, we calm the gut, we watch the salt. But there is a story I want to bring up. A friend of a friend, she was in her 60s, and she did all the diet stuff perfectly.
I think I know where this is going.
Yeah, she took the vitamins, she ate the greens, but when she had her bones checked a year later, they were still getting thinner. And she was just so frustrated.
It breaks your heart when you try so hard and feel like your body is not responding.
Right. But then someone asked her about her daily routine, and it turned out she was very sedentary. She sat reading most of the day.
And there's the missing piece.
Right. Because you can have the whole crew on the site ready to work, but if nobody gives the order to build, they just stand there.
That is perfectly said. And in our bodies, the physical order to start building is movement, mechanical stress.
But I want to pause here because I know what my mom would say. If she feels her bones are a bit thin, the idea of lifting weights or doing heavy exercise sounds terrifying.
Of course it does.
It feels like a recipe for the exact fall she's trying to avoid.
And that is such a natural protective fear.
Yeah.
But we are not talking about putting a heavy barbell on anyone's back. We are talking about gentle, natural movement.
So how does the bone actually know we are moving? How does it sense it?
Well, inside the bone, there's this amazing network of sensory cells. When you move, like when you climb a flight of stairs or even just work in the garden, your muscles have to contract. And because your muscles are attached to your bones, every time a muscle tightens, it physically pulls on the bone.
So the muscle is tugging on the bone.
Exactly. And that little tiny tug actually causes the bone to bend just on a microscopic level.
Wait, the bone bends?
Just a tiny, tiny bit. And that little bend sends a chemical signal straight to the builder cells. It says, hey, we're getting a lot of pull right here. We need more strength in this exact spot. Start building.
That is just poetry. The muscle pulling is literally drawing the blueprint for where the new bone needs to go.
Yes. Your bones crave that physical demand. They want to be used. If we just sit in the chair all day, the bone says, well, we do not need to be strong. And it tells the cleanup crew to start taking things apart to save energy.
So walking, gardening, taking the stairs.
Yes. Or using light resistance bands in the living room.
Yeah.
Just gently reminding the body that you still need its strength.
And there are a couple of other small habits that go with this, right? Like sunshine.
Oh, morning sunlight is wonderful. Just 10 or 15 minutes on your skin helps your body make its own vitamin D, completely bypassing the stomach.
And sleep. I notice we sleep differently as we get older, but that deep sleep is when the body actually does the repair work, right?
It is. When you're in that deep, quiet sleep, your body releases the hormones that tell the builder cells to get to work.
And I think There is a really practical side to this too, which is just protecting the body while it does this quiet work.
You mean fall prevention?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like just going through the house and securing the loose rugs or putting a brighter light bulb in the hallway.
Putting a non-slip mat in the shower.
Yeah,
Yes, it is not about living in fear. It is just about making your home a safe space for your body to thrive.
because men need this too. We touched on this earlier, but 1 in 4 men over 50 will face a bone issue like this.
1 in 4. And yet, men rarely talk about it.
Like my neighbor, Robert. He is in his 70s, always hiking, super active. He thought bone health was strictly a women's issue.
So many men do.
And he was just pulling some stubborn weeds in the garden, lost his balance, put his hand back to catch himself, and his wrist just snapped.
It is such a common wake-up call for men.
But the inspiring thing is what he did next. He didn't just accept it as, well, I'm old now.
No, and you never should.
He started doing light bands in the morning. He got his morning sun. He changed his breakfast to get the whole nutrient crew. And a year later, he was telling me he feels steadier on his feet than he did 10 years ago.
And that is the most beautiful insight here. Your bones are so forgiving, they're always listening.
They really are. So if we step back and look at this whole deep dive, it is really about seeing the whole picture.
What is? It is a complete, gentle system. The calcium bricks, the vitamin D trucks, the magnesium mechanic, the foreman, and the movement to give the order.
And it doesn't mean changing your whole life overnight.
Not at all. It is just small, kind choices.
Yeah.
Splitting up your meals, taking a 10-minute walk in the sun, enjoying some yogurt, just layering small habits.
And whether you are in your 40s trying to be proactive or you are in your 80s just wanting to keep your independence, the body is still capable of responding.
It is never too late to start gently supporting your frame.
You know, it just completely changes how I view aging. Our skeletons are not just these rigid, lifeless sticks doomed to break down. They are dynamic, living archives of our daily movements and choices. And it makes you wonder, if our bones are always quietly listening to the signals we send them, how might that change the way you step and stretch and walk through the world tomorrow?
These thoughts, these questions, they don't have to stop here. Wellness Geek Seniors has many more podcasts and videos just like this one. Subscribe to the channel and explore other episodes. They all flow the same gentle way. If this podcast felt genuinely useful to you, share it with even one person in your life. That one share can bring a real change in someone's life. And it helps Wellness Geek Seniors reach more people who truly need this. If this brought you real value, look for the Join button right next to the Wellness Geek Seniors logo below this video. Click it and become a member of the Wellness Support Circle. Your support helps honest health awareness reach thousands who are silently struggling. Wellness Geek Seniors moves forward because of you. Thank you so much from the heart for being here.